So I definitely think that there's going to be a lot of input from Khabib in trying to get Islam to shoot the takedown often and early, but there's going to be no rush and no panic. I mean, this guy is cool, calm, collected, and composed, and he's a phenomenal fighter. So
it's an interesting fight because the crazy thing is that Islam Makhachev is quite a sizable favorite according to DraftKings, if I'm not mistaken. I'm sure I saw that online earlier this morning. And I think that's a little bit disrespectful to Jack Della Maddalena. The man's on an 18-fight winning streak.
Islam Makhachev is set to make his welterweight debut in a massive title fight against the champion Jack Della Maddalena on November 15th at UFC.
The main event, UFC welterweight champion Jack Della Maddalena defends his belt for the first time when he takes on former UFC lightweight champion Islam Makhachev.
Islam looks to be in incredible shape and is hungry to secure a second UFC belt. But not everyone is convinced. JDM's coach, along with several UFC veterans, have doubts about Islam's chances. UFC legend Michael Bisping admitted he was shocked to see Islam listed as such a heavy betting favorite. He argued that the odds don't give Jack enough respect, especially considering his long winning streak and success against top-level grapplers. Bisping highlighted Jack's boxing and footwork, warning fans that if the fight stays standing, JDM has the tools to...
It's an interesting fight because the crazy thing is that Islam Makhachev is quite a sizable favorite according to DraftKings, if I'm not mistaken. I'm sure I saw that online earlier this morning. And I think that's a little bit disrespectful to Jack Della Maddalena. The man's on an 18-fight winning streak. He just beat Belal Muhammad. He defended all the takedowns there. He's beaten grapplers before in the past. Yes, Islam Makhachev is incredible, and he'd be another contender for pound number one, greatest of all time, whatever you want to call it. But Belal Muhammad was a perfect warm-up fight for Islam Makhachev. And with the boxing of Jack, if Islam was to stand with him, that'd be a bad idea. With Jack's boxing and the footwork that is associated with boxing, that's going to help him. That's going to be very advantageous. He knows how to defend the takedown. He knows what he's doing off his back. He can get back to his feet. So, yeah, I understand why Islam is a slight favorite because he's tried and tested and the greatest lightweight fighter that the sport's ever seen. But don't be surprised if Jack Della
Former
Maddalena
champion Robert Whittaker also broke down the fight and leaned slightly toward Jack. He praised Maddalena's toughness and determination, saying those qualities could help him withstand Islam's relentless wrestling pressure. Whittaker added that Jack's striking could tip the scales if the fight stays on the feet, and suggested Islam might hesitate to use his takedown-heavy style knowing Jack can threaten even when...
I'm going to go Jack. I think Jack has that X factor. I think he has the gut, the grit, the determination to fight the takedowns, to fight the ground, the takedown attacks that Islam is going to go for. And I think in a striking fight, straight up, Jack is better. I think he wins in the hands. Yeah. I think Jack's got the better game to strike over 5 rounds than Islam does as well, especially if Islam is trying to go for takedowns during the fight. I think, and there's people sleep on Jack's grappling game. They sleep on his jiu-jitsu. I don't think Islam is going to be as gun-ho with the takedowns as everybody believes because Jack has that level of offense off his back.
Whittaker even compared the matchup to Islam's first fight with Alexander Volkanovski, predicting it could play out in a similar way. But in his view, Jack is in a stronger position to capitalize on openings that Volkanovski couldn't. He emphasized Jack's sharp boxing and timing, saying over 5 rounds that could create real problems for Islam as he tries to close the distance. While acknowledging Islam's clear edge in wrestling, he insisted Jack has enough grappling to keep him honest and the striking to punish.
From the things that I remember seeing in the Volk fight, their first pairing, I see the fight potentially going that way, but I think Jack's in a better position to take advantage of the things that Volk couldn't. I think he's got better hands, especially over 5 rounds with the longer arms and the reach, especially considering Islam's going to be trying to close that distance to get closer. Jack's tight fighting is so high level. Honestly, skill-wise, I think they both have their strengths. I don't think either one of them is overly superior in any which way. Islam would be a better wrestler, but Jack has the grappling to kind of threaten that. Not to mention, I think he's got the type boxing to make him pay for anything he doesn't pull off well.
Whitaker further predicted that Islam would rely heavily on his kicking game, just like he did against Volkanovski. He pointed out that Jack has shown vulnerabilities defending kicks, which could become a major factor. He added that once Islam wears Jack down with kicks, he could mix in takedowns to dominate. Looking at the bigger picture, Whitaker noted that Jack comes in with nothing to lose, while Islam shoulders all the pressure as one of the UFC's.
I do think Islam has got the kick superiority. And if Jack doesn't address that, which he hasn't in a lot of his fights, the kicks, he's going to get kicked a lot, okay? Islam likes throwing kicks. He used that very well against Volk as well. I think that's going to be a game plan of Islam, is try and wear him down with those kicks, take a takedown when they see him. But I can see him really going heavy in the kicks. External factors aside as well, Jack has nothing to lose.
No, he doesn't.
You know what I mean? As well. And I think Islam's got everything to lose. He's the hottest prospect right now in MMA.
Whitaker also admitted he was surprised Islam chose to move up and risk leaving the lightweight belt behind. He explained that the UFC usually wants champions like Islam to hold their belts as long as possible to maximize their star power, which made his decision even more.
What I think was unexpected was the relinquishing of the lightweight title.
They don't want to do it anymore. No one can be double champ technically anymore.
I expected it in a sense that because Topuria did it, people would have to follow suit. But Islam's kind of like the poster boy right now for the UFC in terms of like mega star sort of things, right? Yeah, I didn't see them doing that, but I'm all for it. Don't get me wrong, because I think double champs just really stall the division. You know what I mean? So I'm happy the lightweight division can move on again.
Meanwhile, Sean Brady said he actually wants Islam to win, because fighting him would be a legacy moment and the ultimate grappling test. Brady admitted he would love to test himself against Islam. Still, when it came to making a prediction, he leaned toward Jack as the overlooked underdog with all the tools to pull off.
Selfishly, for me, I would want Islam to win because I want to fight Islam as for a legacy thing. And I think I can beat Islam. I think I can beat anybody in the world. And I want to grapple. I want my grappling to go against his grappling and see who's better. You know, I really would love for that to play out. But if I had to pick, and I know Jack would be the underdog, I would pick Jack.
Brady also noted that Islam's move to welterweight has thrown both divisions into chaos. He suggested that Islam and Ilia Topuria are clearly on a collision course in the future. According to Brady, if Islam loses to JDM, he'll likely drop back down to lightweight. But if he wins, he may defend the welterweight title once or twice before either vacating it or walking away from the sport.
Coming up is what kind of fucked up this whole division in the first place, you know, but you can't be mad at him. If I was in that situation, I'd probably be doing the same thing. But I know him and Topuria are trying to set something up. If he wins, I think he's staying at 170. I think the chances of him, I think if he loses there's a bigger chance of him going back down to 155 and then maybe them still doing that Ilia Topuria fight. That's how I think of it. I think if he wins at 170, he'll defend it one or two times, and then he'll bounce from there. Yeah, and vacate or retire. Like those guys, they're not fighting very late into their 30s. You know, they're retiring early. So
on the other side, JDM's head coach expressed complete confidence that Islam won't be able to handle Jack's punching power. He argued that unlike Belal Muhammad, Islam doesn't have the same durability to absorb clean shots. He highlighted Jack's knockout threat as ever present, from the opening bell until the final round, thanks to his mix of conditioning and fight.
I just don't think Islam has the chin that Belal has.
You feel like it's a situation where this is going to be an eventual down the line, like third, fourth round? Or do you think people might even be shocked to see it happen earlier on?
We know for a fact if Jack clips someone clean on the chin, they can go over. So it could happen in the first minute. It could happen in the 24th minute. It could happen in the 24 minute, 59 seconds. It could happen 3 rounds in. Jack likes long fights. You know, he likes to be in there. But obviously we're not getting paid for overtime. So if the opportunity arises, we're happy to take it. But Jack's cardio, as we saw, Belal's reputedly the best like cardio in the UFC, and Jack out cardioed him. Bilal was more tired than Jack towards the end of the fight. So you know, Jack's cardio is exceptional, his power is exceptional. And yeah, I like the fight. I really do.
Jack's coach, Ben Vickers, expanded on the game plan. He said he doesn't expect Islam to fight recklessly, acknowledging that Islam is far too composed for that. Still, he believes Islam will try to close the distance early and force Jack into grappling exchanges, even just to wear him down. Vickers warned that staying on the feet too long would expose Islam to Jack's power, which he described as far more dangerous than...
Do you think it's straight away shooting in, establishing his wrestling, getting JDM up against the fence, or do you think he goes out there and actually tries to test his striking against you guys?
No, I don't think he's going to go out and try and test his striking, but I also don't think he's going to rush. You know what I mean? He's a very composed guy. He's a very high level, skillful person. You know, he's not going to rush and be running at Jack's hips, you know, but he is going to try and get hold of Jack as quickly as possible, even if it's just to try and tire him out in the early parts of the fight and get him into his world quickly. He will take damage from Jack as Bilal did if he's on the feet. So I'm sure he's going to not want to be there for as long as possible.
Vickers also noted that Khabib Nurmagomedov often pushes Islam to wrestle more aggressively and expects that influence to show in this fight. He predicted Islam will shoot for takedowns early, not desperately but strategically. While Islam is calm and capable on the feet, Vickers believes his ultimate plan will be to drag Jack into his world.
And we've all heard Khabib in the corner really like chastising Islam when he doesn't go for the takedown. So I definitely think that there's going to be a lot of input from Khabib in trying to get Islam to shoot the takedown often and early, but there's going to be no rush and no panic. I mean, this guy is cool, calm, collected, and composed, and he's a phenomenal fighter. So I think he's definitely going to go for takedowns early, but I don't think he's going to like charge in and try and get the hips at all costs. He backs himself on the feet. He's a decent striker, you know. So, but I do think his game plan is to put Jack on the ground.
Looking at the matchup physically, Vickers pointed out that while Islam is naturally strong, Jack is the bigger man and carries more knockout power. He questioned how moving up after years at lightweight might affect Islam's speed, movement, and cardio. Even with preparation, he admitted it's hard to know how well Islam's strength and style will translate against a...
It's going to be fascinating to see what Islam looks like in this weight class. What do you think? Do you think a lot of his power, a lot of his strength translates to the division with Jack?
It's so hard to tell, to be honest. He's a big dude. He's a good fighter, you know. Jack's bigger. Jack's probably stronger. He's got more power on the feet. But I don't know what kind of fighter he's going to be. What I do know is that as a fighter who's fought at 70 his whole career, this is going to be his first time in a very competitive matchup at welterweight, and it's different. It's a different, you know, it's going to be different for him. He's carrying more weight, and obviously he's had months now to prepare for this and get used to carrying the weight, but he's been fighting at lightweight for a decade, you know, so to then move up a weight class, it is different, and I don't know how that's going to affect his gas tank, his ability to move as well.
Khabib Nurmagomedov himself praised Della Maddalena as Islam's toughest test yet. He said he's followed Jack's career closely and considers him a dangerous striker with elite technique. Khabib reminded fans that Jack has already beaten strong wrestlers and handled those challenges well, proving his versatility. He highlighted JDM's 9-0 run in the UFC and his training with the same team that prepared Volkanovski for Islam. With that experience and preparation, Khabib called Jack one of the most dangerous opponents Islam has.
Бой Ислам Макхачев против Маддалены. От тебя прозвучало о том, что это будет самый тяжелый бой в карьере Ислама. Почему?
Ну, мы не можем сразу все карты раскрывать, потому что наши соперники тоже нас слушают. Но скажу так, что я давно слежу за Маддаленой. Он как боец очень интересный. Тогда, конечно, у меня даже в голове не было насчет боя Ислама и Маддалены. Но судя по его скиллам, по его технике, по его ударке, судя по тому, как он защищается против борцов, а он дрался с борцами. Рамазан хорошо борется, Гилберт Бёрнс хорошо
Even
борется.
Islam himself admitted that Jack may be the toughest challenge of his career so far. He acknowledged Jack's size as a unique factor compared to opponents like Volkanovski or Poirier. While respecting JDM's striking threat, Islam made it clear he has no plans to let him get comfortable. Instead, he vowed to push the pace, drag him into deep waters, and dominate with his trademark grappling.
Сказал, что твой бой с Маддаленой будет очень сложным. А ты видишь, в чем Маддалена превосходит твоих прошлых соперников, например, Волконовский или Парье?
Весом, наверное. Ну, не знаю. Знаешь, как зависит. Если, например, даже вот сейчас про Чимаева бой говорили, если он дал бы ему поработать, то это был бы конкурентный бой. И также и у меня, и у всех. Если дать работать, например, в стойке Маддалене, он может показать хороший бой. Не секрет, я собираюсь его переводить, я собираюсь его контролировать, заставлять его устать, навязывать свой стиль боя.